The member for Jones.
Oh, surprise, surprise! I also rise to speak about the budget, and while we've got the Minister for Sport and Rec in the sorry, I'm about to start.
Order.
Here I was about to start on a very positive note and acknowledge the $900,000 for Bennett Oval and Memorial Oval in Whyalla. I thought for needed work, but I will provide a bit of context. Somewhat short of the $6 million commitment that Labor made to upgrade their sport facilities in Whyalla for the much-needed sport hub. But I do not look a gift horse in the mouth, so I welcome the $900,000. But when it comes to the budget, that massive slug on families in our state, $356 million worth of extra fines, fees and taxes. And a number of those are going to especially hit people in regional South Australia. And when we look at that $356 million, we have to do so in the context of what is happening to state debt, going up from $13.5 billion to $23 billion. The Liberal government are smashing the debt ceiling, the responsible debt ceiling that Labor had in place. So we're going to be paying that off for many, many years to come. But when it comes to my electorate, there were a number of very sneaky moves indeed. There was the Outback tax, which formed part of the dump before the budget from the Treasurer. So he announced a property tax for those people in the unincorporated areas of between $100 and $400. Now, this just came completely out of the blue. I've called it a very sneaky tax. And we notice in the budget papers themselves, talks about consultation in relation to that. So they've already decided that there will be a property tax, and they've already decided what the parameters will be of that property tax before any consultation has taken place. Now, I will be the first person to admit that there needs to be additional funding for our outback areas, for our unincorporated areas. And indeed, when we were in government, when we implemented, when we looked at a levy for some of those communities, only 2 communities went ahead with a levy, because both of those communities were amongst the larger communities in the outback areas, namely Andamuka and Iron Knob. But we did that on the basis of a genuine and long-standing consultation process with those communities to raise a bit of extra money. But when it comes to the rest of the unincorporated areas, many of those communities are incredibly small, and plus we're going to, by the looks of things, also hit pastoralists that do not live in communities, that will get little in the way of direct or indirect benefit. So we should have consulted there first and determined what was needed in the outback areas, and then determined what is the best way to fund that. Is it through a levy, or should it be out of general revenue, given the vast differences and the differences between general local government elsewhere in the state and what happens in that vast area of our state. One of the other really cruel things that has been done in this budget is the removal of registration concession for people in the unincorporated areas and for people in Roxby Downs, Coober Pedy and Kangaroo Island. For Coober Pedy, Roxby Downs and Kangaroo Island, that's a $2.7 million hit. I pulled out some of the figures on vehicle registration in Roxby Downs, looking at how many cars households have. 315 households with 1 car, 568 with 2 cars, 339 with 3 cars. And they're all going to be hit, and they're going to be hit very significantly. A business was saying that, in Roxby Downs, was saying it's going to cost an extra $20,000 a year for that business. The reason Labor never touched that concession is because we recognise the extreme difficulties people in the outback face when it comes to transport, both in terms of fuel costs, in terms of the distances they travel. So they're already seriously disadvantaged. You can't hop on a bus, you can't hop on a train. So this is a real slog when it comes to people in the outback.